Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2, Unit 1.3 Notes, Day 1. Today we're going to be talking about graphing linear equations in slope-intercept form. Our learning target today is to be able to graph lines in slope-intercept form by using the slope and y-intercept. So, what is slope-intercept form, do you ask? Well, hopefully you remember. It is where we say y equals m x plus b. Good. Okay, so hopefully you guys remember that. M we've been talking about. M is your, what was I going to write? M is your slope, okay? Normally it's a fraction. We like to say that is also your movement, okay? That's why I like to think of the word M, but that's not really what it means. So M is your slope, it is your movement, and it is connected to the X. Now the B in the back, that is your Y-intercept, okay? It tells you where to begin on the Y-axis, okay? So M is your slope, it's your movement, and B is your Y-intercept, okay? So it says to identify the slope and the y-intercept of each line, okay? So remember your slope is connected to the x, all right? So our slope is 3, and if you write that as a fraction, you don't have to, but if you did, it would be 3 over 1. So we would go up 3 and to the right 1. Our y-intercept is a point. So we would say that that is the point 0, 8. Okay? So our slope, it's connected to the x, negative 1/2. So we would go down 1 and to the right 2. Okay, how we were talking about yesterday, if it's positive, we know that it's rising. If it's negative, we know that it's falling. And then our y-intercept at 3 would be the point 0, 3. Okay, what about number 3? The slope is connected to the x, okay? So that slope is negative 4. If you want it as a fraction, you would say it's negative 4 over 1, which means we're falling 4 and then to the right 1. And it's okay to have a y-intercept as a slope, as a fraction, okay? It's just 0, 5/3. All right, now number 4 looks a little weird because all I see is a slope, okay? A slope of negative 4, which means that we're falling 4, we're going down 4, and we're going right 1. Okay, but in the back, we're really adding something. We're adding 0, okay? So that means we would start at the point 0, 0, at the origin, okay? Now 5 and 6, why don't you guys do those two on your own? Go ahead and pause the video, and good luck. Okay, number 5, you should have gotten a slope of 7 over 8, which is rising. And once again, we had to do that plus 0. Now, you really don't have to write that, but just know that that means we're starting at 0, 0. And then number 6, the line, the slope is going to be falling down 11 over 6, and the y-intercept is at 0, comma 3 over 2. Okay. So for problems like number 7 and 8, all we have is the graph, okay? So the two things we need are the slope and the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis, okay? And that right there is what point? That is the point 0, -4. So I know that that is going to be my y-intercept. Now, to find the slope, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find a point where it crosses, okay? And I know that this graph is this graph rising or falling? This graph is rising from left to right. And now all I have to do is figure out how do I get from one point to the next. So I would go up 4, and then I go right 1, 2, 3, which tells me that my slope is 4/3. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with number 8. The thing that I see first is where it crosses the y-axis, and that is at the point 0, 4. Okay, and now where's the next point that you see that it crosses? Well, there's one right here. Okay, so from left to right, I know that this graph is falling. Okay, so I'm going to have a negative slope. And I'm going to go down 4 and to the right 2. Well, -4/2, what does that reduce to? Yeah, that reduces to a slope of -2. Okay? And you'd be like, well, Mr. Grice, well then isn't it 2/1? Well, let's take a look at the point 2, 1. Look, we could have gone there, we could have gone there, we could have gone there. Anywhere you decided to do those, your point, it would have reduced to -2. All right. So now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using our graph to create the line. So graph each line using the slope and y-intercept. And hold on a sec. Sorry, that might look a little jacked up, but those graphs look a little bit nicer. So here we go. We're going to graph each line using the slope and y-intercept. So the two things that I need to know is I need to know my slope, which is 2/3, and then my y-intercept is 0, -4. So remember, 0, -4 is where we begin, okay? So I'm going to go to 0, -4, and I'm going to draw my dot, okay? And that's my first point. We always start on the y-axis, and now I know I need to go up 2/3, and there's my point. Up 2/3, there's my point. Up 2/3, and I'm going to do that in both directions until I have my line. Okay? Now, when you're drawing your line, make sure that you're using a straight edge, a ruler, or an ID. So you have a straight line, and then you need to make sure that you have your arrows because this is a line and it goes on forever and ever. Okay? So there's our first one. Let's look at number 10. All right? My slope is -6, and I want that as a fraction. So it's going to be -6/1, which means I'm going to go down 6 and to the right 1. Okay? My y-intercept is at the point 0, 7. Okay? So at 0, 7 is where I start. I'm going to go down 6 and to the right 1. Down 6 and to the right 1. And I believe that's all the points that I can do. Okay? And then I'm going to get my ruler out again to connect the dots to make a nice and straight line. And there we go. All right, so number 10, or number 11 now. Looking at our slope is -4/5, and then our y-intercept, where we begin on the y-axis, is -10, okay? So when we go to -10 all the way down here, I can't go down 4 and over 5, okay? Because it's falling, that's what I have to do. I have to go down 4 and to the right 5. What I would want to do is do the exact opposite. So instead of going down and to the right, I'm going to go up 4 and then to the left, because I want to make sure that that slope is still going down, okay? And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and there we go. And if you check, you can do your slope now. 1, 2, 3, down 4, over 5, down 4, over 5. And it works out perfectly, okay? And so I'm going to draw my line using my straight edge and add my arrows. Okay? So just remember, we're always starting on the y-axis. All right, the graphs over here came out a little bit nicer. So here we go. We're going to do a couple more together, and then I'll let you do some on your own. Okay? So number 12. My slope is 6, and remember that's 6 over 1. So I'm going to go up 6 and to the right 1, and my y-intercept is 0, -9. So at -9 is where I start. My slope tells me to go up 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, over 1. Okay, I've made my points. And then I'm going to get my ruler. Draw a nice and straight line. And adding my arrows. Okay, number 13, why don't you try 13 on your own? Know that your slope is a -1/4, and your y-intercept is 0.8. Okay, pause the video and good luck. Okay, and there you go. Remember, we're starting at 0.8, so that's where I'm at. And I can check my slope that I went down 1 and to the right 4, and I do that each time. Okay, number 14. So number 14, I see that my slope is 2, and I want that as a fraction, so it's 2 over 1. But what's my y-intercept? Well, remember, when there's nothing there, we're talking about the point 0, 0. Okay? So at 0, 0, that's where we begin, and we're going up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and I'm going in both directions. And there we go. Now let's make our line using our straight edge. Ew, that one didn't look very nice. Here we go. All right, 16. This should be 17 and 18 are on your own. Okay, pause that video. Good luck. Okay, there's a little hint on your slopes and y-intercepts if you haven't done it yet. Okay, I'll be back in a sec. Okay, and there are the lines. Now, if you have any questions or need extra help, please see Ms. Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. Just remember, when it's a negative slope, your graph needs to be falling from left to right. And when it's a positive slope, it should be rising. Okay? Well, that's it for Algebra 2, Unit 1.3 Notes, Day 1. If you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. Otherwise, this is Mr. Grice signing off. Thanks for watching.